Heavy is the head that has to manage all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
We're now incentivized to buy what we already buy.
Fumbling through college had me building.
I also got some done on the other side.
And that was right around, I would say, May, maybe, right before renewing the lease for this property. Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I was going to say, I am getting up there in age, I'll tell you what.
Bills paid by other people, life was never this good. I had to step back, knowing that it's...
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about financial freedom and financial independence, how I reached it once again, and if it is worth it to you. So the first thing, in order to reach financial freedom, you need to actually have financial independence. What does that mean, right? So for me, when I finally reached financial independence, that was roughly when I was at about $300,000 in net worth. That means if you cut off all your debt, so for example, if you have, let's say $400,000 and you have a house that's worth $600,000, but you still owe $300,000 on it, that means you probably have what? Let's see, 300,000, 600,000, 5, 6, 7, 700,000 in net worth altogether, right? All right, so you have 400,000 cash, you have a $600,000 house, but you've only had 300,000 in equity in that house. You have about 700,000 in net worth. So when I reached financial independence, I had about 300,000 in net worth. Now, in every state, this could be different. And then even 300,000 in net worth cannot be financial independence for certain people because of the lifestyle that they want to live, right? And then for others, 100,000 in net worth might be all you need to reach financial freedom. And the reason why I say that is because there are people who live in the sticks. There are people who are off the grid. There are people who are traveling and living across the world and overseas. And so for them to reach financial independence is going to be easier than others. And for me, I could have, now I'm originally from New York City. With 300,000 in net worth, I could have still had a good life and had financial independence even in Brooklyn, New York City. Now, based on my upbringing and how I grew up, there was, I'll be 100% honest with you, there was a condo in Crown Heights. No, was it Crown Heights? It was right between Canarsie, for all of my New Yorkers, and East New York. I forget what it's called. It's right between Canarsie and East New York. There's these condos that were going for about $250,000 or so, and that's an insane bargain. It might have been 250 or it might have been 400,000. That price range, it was fluctuating at the time. But in 2021, 2022, when interest rates were 3%, it wouldn't have mattered to me. I would have been paying the same price to get in. The HOA fee was manageable. And yes, at that time, I could have literally moved back to Brooklyn, New York and had a decent life. Now, the problem with condos is that they don't really go up in value. So they stay kind of cheap due to the HOA fee. And based on the quality of life that I have here, if I had lived in Brooklyn, New York, I would have been going back to rats and roaches. I would have been going back to pee in the elevators. I'd have been going back to smaller bedrooms. And I believe it was a 2-bedroom apartment. Two-bedroom condo. It could have been a 3-bedroom, but here I'm living in a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath property. So no rats, no roaches, none of that stuff. No pee in the elevator. I don't have an elevator. But, you know, I have a basement. I have great neighbors, things like that you probably don't expect in Brooklyn, New York City. Now, would I have been more accustomed to the environment, more accustomed to the women, to the people, to everyone that's around me, yes. Would I have been able to adapt back to that situation? Absolutely. Growing up there, living there for over 19 plus years. Would I have been comfortable there? Yes. But I also understood that my mindset wouldn't necessarily grow in New York City, right? I'd have been staying in that breadbasket. I'd have been staying within a community of people that don't necessarily have aspirations of growth and of leveling up. And for the most part, I would have owned that condo, but everyone around me would have been renters. So I wouldn't be having a conversation about real estate. I wouldn't be having a conversation about investing with my neighbors, right? Because the landlords of those properties don't live in that area. But me, as a young individual, would be living in that area. And so I could have had that financial independence. And what does financial independence mean to me? It means you're able to survive on your own, live on your own, right? You don't need for nothing. So you don't need food, shelter, water. You can provide all that for yourself, no questions asked. You have an emergency fund that would cover your life for at least 2 good years. And on top of that, you have a passive income stream that, I guess that would be financial freedom. So we're getting into that realm of financial freedom. I think financial independence is good right where I had left it off. And so if you're able to cover yourself for 2+ years, you have a starter home maybe for some people, or the home for some people, whichever one you begin with. So for me, I always like to elevate and upgrade. I didn't believe that I had reached financial independence when I got my first property. It was after my second property that I started to believe that I had financial independence. And it wasn't until I got my second property that I had actually crossed that net worth of $300,000. So even when I got my first property, I probably had around maybe, let's round up to maybe 100,000. I was probably at 6 figures in net worth when I got my first property. So with that being said, I was not financially independent yet. Was I able to provide for myself? Yes. Was I able to pay my bills and utilities? Yes. But at the time when I had bought that first property, initially, I didn't have 2 years worth of expenses ready to go to where I could have some flexibility, to where I wasn't beholden to a job, to where I could actually maneuver and start to do other things. And so financial independence was very, very necessary and key for me at that point in time, where I was stressing myself out so much, trying to achieve that, trying to get there so that I'm not beholden to one person or one industry or one sector or one business. To where, listen, if you want me, come get me. If you don't want me, that's okay, right? So all these jobs and all these businesses, when I look at it now, it's like, listen, if it's not good for both of us, it's not worth it. It's not worth my time. It's not worth yours. And right now in this economy, there are so many people that want a job. So many people. I can't tell you how many people call in every single day asking me about their application, asking me about whether or not they're going to be hired, asking me about whether or not they're going to get an interview, right? There are so many people looking for work, full-time, part-time, doesn't matter time. Okay, they are looking, they are hungry, they are wanting to work. We are in a recession. Let's not think any other way. Like, there are people who are unemployed. There are people who are starving, looking for something to hold them over right now, right? I was looking to rent out a place to a person today, and they were telling me, listen, I'm not even working right now. They were telling me they don't have a job. Right? I don't know how they're still on their phone communicating and doing all these things, but hopefully it is to find work that they're trying to pay that phone bill until they can find something to hold themselves over, right? And so we're at a point where I'm blessed enough to where, one, I have relationships built where people are offering me jobs, people are wanting me to work with and for them. And then on top of that, I have companies reaching out to me all the time. Like, hey, would you want to do this? Hey, would you want to do that? And listen, I also have colleagues that are being offered 150,000, 100,000 to take on jobs at companies like Walmart, companies like Waffle House, things like that. And so, you know, it's a recession for some who may not have that resume and experience, and then for others, it's still a bounty out there. It's bountiful. You know, we're being offered left and right, and we have the choice, the option of choosing something that is more beneficial to us, if it's beneficial to us, or staying pat and staying put. And so, you know, I don't want to discount where some people are right now, but in order to get out of that struggle, you need to have that resilience. You need to fortify yourself. And now this is where I ask you, is financial independence so important to you that you're willing to sacrifice family time, that you're willing to sacrifice relationships for a period of time in order to grow yourself, in order to grow your life? Because that's what I did. That's what I absolutely did. You know, I sacrificed, I stayed down, I stayed hungry, I stayed tunnel vision and focused. I couldn't think about anything else. I couldn't allow myself to be in each and everybody else's business, because I had a mortgage that needed to be paid. I had a mortgage that needed to close. I had no savings because I poured everything into the home so that I could have the lowest monthly payment possible, knowing that for years to come, that would be a benefit to me. That would be an asset to me, having the lowest monthly payment I possibly can. So when I put that 10% down, that was all the money I had. And when I put 10% down on this property, that was all the money I had at the time. And then I watched it and watched it and watched it grow. Now, when I say 10% on this property, that was all the money except for my investments in the stock market. I should add that so that people are not confused. So any money that was in my savings, any money that was in my checking account, any money that was in, and I think I had like 2 savings accounts at the time, all of that was depleted in order to put into this. Only thing that you do not touch is your stock market accounts and your 401k, Roth IRA, and retirement accounts, right? And so now I even have more assets in more different sectors and areas. And so, yeah, anything that's making you money outside of a CD or a savings account should not be used for your real estate investments and property purchases. But were you willing to be so tunnel vision? And then when I got everything that I wanted and I was still tunnel vision and I was still focused, it was like my relationships started to suffer drastically. They're like, yo, you don't even come around. You don't even show yourself. You don't even want to be around. And so, you know, sometimes that financial independence starts to kick me even more and start to hurt the relationships that I truly do cherish, because you're so focused on what? You're so focused on not only maintaining, but excelling, accelerating, being better than you were before. And sometimes you only look at that financial aspect as you being better, right? Because at this point, I could go on autopilot. I can literally just cruise control to whatever. I was about to say financial freedom, but to whatever, right? Cruise control to paying off the mortgage, cruise control to whatever. There's no stress that is necessary right now in my life. But there's things that I choose to take on for whatever reason. And so I ask you, as the person watching this video, is financial independence that important to you? Now, for me, what did it take? I'll give you the monthly time frames or the yearly time frames on what it took me to reach each and every stage in my life. So first and foremost, to get my first $10,000 took me 10 months. I was a delivery boy for Domino's. I was paying my mom $200 a month in rent. I was 18 years old, playing college football while in school and working as a delivery boy for Domino's on a bike, making $10 an hour, which then increased to $10.50 an hour at some point in between that 8 to 10 month span. With the $20 in tips I would make per day, I ended up with over $11,000 before transitioning into security work. That took 10 months. Now, again, other people might have different type of bills, different type of responsibilities. That money ended up going to college once I transferred schools and stopped playing sports. So when I got to the University of Albany as a junior, I still played rugby and things like that, but I was paying for like room and board and unlimited food, blah, 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 blah for the first year. That was $6,000 to $8,000 every semester, which depleted me. And I didn't work my first semester because I wanted to be a student. And then my second semester I had to work because I didn't want to have debt, right? And then after that, I just worked my senior year so that I, again, would not have debt, and I moved off campus so I wouldn't be paying $8,000 every semester, which is basically $16,000 a year. And I was paying for summer classes, which were like $700, $800 per class in order to graduate on time, thanks to me transferring. So with that being said, I had reached $10,000 probably 3 times before graduating college, and then had to deplete it all for college. And then when I finally graduated college, landed a job at Amazon, where I was able to make a decent amount of money, got a travel package, got a severance package, used all of that. And when I got into the restaurant industry, I was making even more money. And then I was in that industry for not even a month, in the restaurant industry for not even a month before buying my first property. And I would say it was 11 months after moving to a new state that I had purchased my first property. 11 months. 11 months after moving to a new state, probably 14 months removed from college. So 14 months removed from college, I had purchased my first property. 10 months after that, I had purchased my second property, right? And so the first property I had put about $21,500 in, and that includes all closing costs and all that stuff. Second property, I put close to $30,000 in, and that includes closing costs and all that other stuff. And then it took me about 3 months, not even. It took me about 8 months to furnish this property that I currently live in. And within that 8 months, 10 months to save up at least 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund. So in the span of less than 3 years, I was able to acquire 2 properties, have a fully funded emergency fund, and I did that all without accumulating any debt outside of a mortgage. And that took a lot of struggle. It took a lot of stress. I was partying at least once or twice a week during those times. But there were certain times where I absolutely did not party. Anytime where I was under contract for a house, I would not go out. When I was transitioning from jobs, I did not go out. When I had first purchased this primary residence, I did not go out for at least 2 months maybe, while I was grinding and trying to stay on top of things. And so, again, it took me almost 3 years to reach that financial independence for myself. It could take other people longer, especially if you're dealing with debt, if you're dealing with a lower income. It could take people a shorter amount of time if you have no debt and you have a higher income starting off. But that financial independence was truly important to me. And once I reached it, I was able to then start to look at things like relationships, starting to look at things like financial freedom. And what does that look like for me? What does it look like to not have any bills? What does it look like to have all this income and no bills whatsoever, right? So now I'm starting to think in a different trajectory where, what if I didn't have any savings? Why would it matter? Because I have all this passive income streams still coming in, funding my lifestyle, to the point where it doesn't matter what's in the bank account. It matters what's coming in to the bank account. And so that's the philosophy that I started to apply to my life and started to really manifest for myself and started to work towards, right? Because we don't just think about what we want to do. We do what we want to do. And you see that through people's actions. And so when my best friend told me the other day, sorry I couldn't go out, sorry I couldn't meet up with you, sorry I couldn't do this, and that, I'm finally starting to see, okay, this man is working. He's tunnel vision now. He's focused on that independence, on that financial independence. And so, you know, that's that trigger. That's that mindset shift to where you know what somebody's about. You know what they're about to work on. You know what they're about to do with their time and energy when they're not going out, when they're not focused on the relationships, right? They're focused on them. So are you willing to do that? Are you willing to reach financial independence? Because financial freedom cannot be reached without financial independence. I'll tell you that right now. And there's only one way to get there is through being tunnel vision and having that mindset of hard work, or finding someone on the same page with you. Sometimes it is better to do it with two heads. They say two heads are better than one, but I figured it would just be easier to do it on my own, and it was. For you, it may not be. But let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Do you think you can reach financial freedom without financial independence? What does financial independence look like to you? If you like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. You know I post every single day at 8 a.m. daily on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify for podcasters, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Peace.